Giorgia Meloni has found a conservative comrade in Donald Trump. Both right-wing leaders with nationalist agendas, the pair have become fast friends. And while EU and US relations are at a historic low, Meloni is full of praise.
Knowing him as a strong and effective leader, I bet that those who hope for divisions will be proven wrong.
The adoration goes both ways. Meloni was the only European leader to attend Donald Trump's inauguration and has clearly made her mark.
Well, look, I love Italy, and Italy is a very important nation. We have a wonderful woman as your leader. No, I think Italy's doing very well. I think Italy's got very strong leadership with Giorgia.
The leader of the right-wing Brothers of Italy party, Meloni has close ties to conservative leaders around the world. From Hungary's Viktor Orbán to Argentina's Javier Milei. And she also has a strong connection with Trump's right-hand man, Elon Musk. But it's not just conservatives Meloni is linked to. She's won over many of Europe's liberal politicians in recent years. Now her EU colleagues are relying on her to bridge the transatlantic divide and convince Trump to change his tune.
We are governing at probably the most difficult time since the post-war period. A little bit of everything is happening. We'll address the issue of tariffs with determination and pragmatism, without alarmism. Of course, we don't agree with the choice of the United States, but we're ready to deploy all negotiations and economic measures that are needed to support our businesses and the sectors affected.
While tariffs are likely the top talking point for the White House meeting, the war in Ukraine could also prove a sticking point. Meloni is a staunch advocate for Kyiv, and as US support for Ukraine wanes, she may be its secret weapon in bringing Trump back on side.
Giovanni Orsina is a professor of contemporary history at Luis Guido Carli University in Rome. Welcome to DW, Professor. Is this meeting likely to be tariff-related, or would it have been arranged before this current madness?
It was planned before, and certainly after the tariff events, let's call them that way. This is going to be part of the dialogue between Trump and Meloni, but at the same time, there was also yesterday seemingly not very fruitful meeting between the European Commissioner and the American administration. So I think that quite a lot has already been said. Certainly, this is going to be part of the meeting, but I think that most of the meeting will be devoted to other matters. And this is what the rumors that are coming from the Italian government are pointing in that direction.
Yeah, clue us in then about those rumors. What does Giorgia Meloni want from the United States?
Well, after the meeting between the European Commissioner and the American administration yesterday, it seems that there was a kind of reshaping of this meeting on the part of the Italian government that has put more pressure, more emphasis on the bilateral element. So somehow putting the European question and tariffs on the one side and emphasizing more that this was about the relationship between Italy and the US. Now, these are the messages that have come out in the Italian media, but of course, possibly this was also overemphasized because at this moment Meloni does not want to put excessive pressure, emphasis on the tariffs element. Of course, there is a possibility that also the tariffs will be discussed, but it seems that more bilateral things will be on the table in this meeting.
And it's interesting if we explore that bilateral element. European leaders aren't universally happy about this visit. We had the French industry minister, Marc Ferracci, warning that there's a risk that this could break the continent's unity. Do you think it's too cynical to suggest that this actually might be part of the Trump administration's plan?
Well, Meloni has been very clear and has been very careful to send a message that this was not in any way going to jeopardize the European unity. And signally, there were lots of news that were leaked, that were essentially made open, that she was in a very close contact with Ursula von der Leyen, that everything was being coordinated with her. And von der Leyen has publicly stated more than once that this is a welcome travel and that she's totally in touch with Meloni and totally agreed with her. So there was a very, very clear message on the part of the Italian government that this is not in any way going to be an anti-European trip. Now, of course, what Trump sees from his side is different, and we will see whether he will try and interpret this trip in an anti-European way. But on the part of Meloni, the message was very, very clear. I would say painstakingly clear.
Right. OK. So she's clearly making every effort not to divide the two sides.
Absolutely.
Tell us more about the personal relationship between Meloni and Trump. There does seem to be a sort of genuine warmth there.
As far as, of course, one can judge from afar, it seems that that's the case. Of course, the two leaders are ideologically quite close, in as much as ideology matters in these cases, and all signals that have been received is that Meloni is very good in this kind of bilateral talks, and she's very good also apparently with speaking with males of older males, let's say, because clearly she's good personally to create a relationship there. Now, of course, how much this will really matter in a relationship with Trump, of course, is all needs to be seen. But certainly there is an ideological closeness and an ability on the part of Meloni to relate with leaders like Trump.
And if we talk about Giorgia Meloni herself, she has gone from far-right bogey woman to gaining something of a reputation as a collaborative leader within the EU. Where do you place her in that spectrum?
I think she never was a far-right bogey woman. I mean, she was portrayed as such. And at least to my eyes, it was very clear already in 2022, before she was elected, that certainly she is a right-wing leader, no doubt about that. She's a conviction politician, and her convictions are squarely in the conservative right, no doubt about that. But also that she is a responsible politician, and it was already very clear in 2022 that she had very clear that she had to play along in the transatlantic alliance and in the European Union. So to me, this was not a surprise. Of course, she remains a right-wing politician, certainly, but she is also a very responsible politician, and she knows that it is in Italy's national interest to play along in the European Union. And since she's a nationalist too, a national conservative, she knows that in order to defend Italy's national interest, she needs to participate to the European tables. And I think everything she has done has confirmed that this is very clear to her.
Interestingly, US Vice President J.D. Vance will be in Rome at the end of this week and early next. He'll be meeting Giorgia Meloni. What should we read, if anything, into this sudden flurry of activity between the US and Italian leaders?
I think that what the Italian leadership is trying to do is to try to see whether this good ideological relationship with the United States can be used in Italy's interest, but also in Europe's interest. I mean, Meloni has always been very clear. Let's remember her interview to the Financial Times, that she thinks that this widening of the Atlantic is bad and that Europe and the US should keep working together. And now she's trying to, let's say, put her 2 cents on the table, try and help this relationship to work better and see whether this ideological closeness of hers to Trump, and even more, I think, to Vance, can be used in order to make the relationship easier, certainly to Italy's interest, but I think also to Europe's interest.
That's very clear. Thanks for guiding us through that, Professor. Professor Giovanni Orsina from Luis Guido Carli University. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.